Hello, I'm Olivia, and this video is about upspeak. If you're working on voice feminization, or you're just trying to sound more or less feminine or more confident in your voice, you've probably heard about this concept, upspeak or uptalk. And today we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about upspeak, we're going to talk about what it is, who uses it, and how it's perceived. And you can decide if it's something you even care about. So let's get into it. Upspeak is a speech pattern where your pitch rises at the ends of phrases or at the ends of sentences. Technically, it's part of intonation, which is the musical shape of your phrases. So how the pitch moves up and down and what that kind of shows emotionally in your voice or what kind of tone it shows. So you often hear upspeak when somebody's asking you a question. Are you going to the party? Are you going to eat that last pot sticker? Are you leaving me for Marissa Tomei? I'm kind of referencing, that Seinfeld episode? You don't. Where George thinks he can date Marissa Tomei. So we hear it in questions, but you can also hear it in declarative statements. I went to the movies and I got some popcorn, that kind of thing. So who uses upspeak and how is it perceived? Upspeak is commonly associated with women and feminine perceived voices, and I would say particularly younger women. So while it's stereotyped as this feminine perceived trait, I think everyone uses upspeak to a certain extent. A 2011 study found that while upspeak can be perceived as a sign of uncertainty, in many professional and conversational contexts, it can also communicate friendliness, inclusivity, and a desire to connect. So I would say that because we associate that pitch going up with it being a question so much, I think that's why people associate it with being uncertain, well, I'm not sure. I don't know, that kind of tone. People think of it as a not confident thing to do. There's a million videos about if you want to be confident and get the job or be taken seriously, you've got to cut it out with the upspeak. But I think it can also be a way to demonstrate that you're not done saying something, that you're going to continue talking, I was going to go over there and then I didn't. We're waiting for the next part of it because it didn't come down in pitch. So don't jump in. I'm going to keep going. But I think also in certain contexts, it can sort of come off as condescending or can kind of be read that way. And I have had this experience, when people sort of explain things so the sky is blue, right? Or it would be if somebody was trying to explain math to me. So 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So then 2 plus 3 is going to be 5, right? That kind of thing. That one does kind of bother me, but that's kind of an extreme situation. I don't know, is that kind of a corporate thing? I saw a video where somebody was talking about that being kind of a tech jargony kind of thing where you're explaining things in that way. I don't know. So is this a feminine trait that you want to incorporate if you're working on vocal feminization? Many cisgender women, I would say, do use upspeak, but not all feminine perceived voices rely on upspeak in order to sound feminine. I'm sure you could pick out this video and find a million places where I'm not doing it on purpose, that I do it all the time. But I wouldn't say that that's the defining feminine sound of my voice or something. So using upspeak strategically, I think you could use it in certain contexts or when you want your pitch to stay higher. But yeah, I think that it's not a necessary thing to be incorporating all the time. And I think it could make you sound unsure, but I don't know what you're going for. So it's a personal thing, whether you want to purposely incorporate upspeak or not. As a gender affirming voice teacher, here's my take. I don't typically teach upspeak as a core foundational principle of voice feminization. I just don't. I do focus on intonation. I focus on movement of the pitch because I do think that there's something to masculine perceived voices who sound very flat or taking a pitch up really high and staying flat in the pitch. I think that neither of those sound very natural and easy. So trying to get more movement in the pitch if you tend to be more monotone, that's something that I typically suggest that people work on. And you may find that once you start working on other things, working on resonance, working on pitch, or thinking about intonation, that you naturally start to do more upspeak. Maybe that would happen. And I think also once you gain more confidence and control of the upper range, kind of moving your range up and down more, you have more freedom with that, then you can kind of freely go into upspeak if that's something that feels right for you. But I think with intonation is such a personal thing that I think, you know, I encourage people to find what works for them, but I'm not going to be like, oh, you gotta go up in here and go down there. That's not like, that doesn't, it's not really realistic. So I wouldn't just be going around town upspeaking just to upspeak unless you really like it. Unless it's like something that you're like, yeah, that sounds great to me, helps me keep my pitch up. I think it sounds feminine. Great. But I would also think about just intonation and your pitch range as a whole and figure out what feels and sounds natural to you. Again, when I hear upspeak, I don't think my brain goes, oh, that's feminine. But I think it's more about all those elements coming together and the overall movement of the pitch rather than just the pitch going up. So if you want to experiment with upspeak or kind of recognize if you're using upspeak or not, you can practice by using questions and practice going up and down at the ends of phrases. Like, can you pass me the potatoes? Can you pass me the potatoes? Are you going to the movies? Are you going to the movies? Kind of explore what that's like so you know when you're going up and down. And you can also use a pitch tracker for that, like the first page of the Voice Tools app where it shows you the graph, or using Voice Analyst always shows you the graph too. So you can see, oh, that pitch is going up, or oh, that pitch is going down. So I think that sort of recognition of what's happening is really helpful to see it going up or down. So upspeak could be a tool in your toolbox for voice feminization if you want to focus on it. But your feminine voice is more than just one pattern. It's about all these things coming together to form this authentic voice that is you. So there's no hard and fast rules about anything. Okay, if you're exploring voice feminization or interested in learning more, you can check out the links down in the description. I've got a voice feminization e-course you can check out, 6.5 hours of video content, everything that you need to know about voice feminization. And I also offer private one-on-one lessons. So you can check out those links down in the description. Let me know down in the comments. Have you noticed yourself using upspeak? Honestly, I have noticed myself using upspeak a lot in this video. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.